The most important thing when buying a rugged tablet is not just performance or the screen, and you can view the screen here despite what you see on video. I can still view this during a cloudy day. In full sunlight, not really possible. But anyways, how well can this handle drops? Because if it can't handle it, then it kind of defeats the purpose of even getting a rugged tablet in the first place. Because there's a lot of other options at a better price or better value for the buck. The all-new R10 Pro tablet was sent out to me recently. Now, one thing off the bat that I kind of like and hate is that it mentions it has 20 gigabytes of RAM. That's really not the case. This is 8 gigabytes of physical RAM and then 12 gigabytes of VRAM. At least they kind of show it on here. Then it mentions that there's 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Yeah, 20 would be really nice, but it's not likely in these scenarios. And one disappointing thing here is that it mentions it has a 1280 by 800 display. It says RGB. So I'm not sure what they were thinking with this, because usually, especially at the price point of being around $200 at the time of this video, it would have like an HD screen or HD plus. Maybe for performance might be better on here. We'll have to see. A 10,800 milliamp hour battery, 5 megapixel front and 13 megapixel rear, as well as Android 14 and a Octa-Core T606 processor. In the box, you get the tablet itself here, and there is a screen protector that's pre-installed. You get 2 screen protectors total, one that's pre-installed and another one that's like kind of hard, and I put the hard one on just now, so that's what it looks like. We'll take a look at more of this in just a moment. And then there is all the other accessories here. The power adapter is USB-A, so just keep that in mind. And it comes with 2 cables, so one's USB-C to USB-A to recharge this, and then there's another one that's, I forgot the name of this one exactly, but yeah. Then there's a few wipes, instructions manual, as well as a SIM pin and a couple of screws. Now these screws are used to put this in place. This is like a handle that you put on the back of the tablet right here. And I'll install that in just a moment just to show you what it looks like. So that's kind of nice to have. It's almost a normal thing with a lot of tablets. Not all of them have it though. So yeah, and then there's also a flathead screwdriver, as well as some hinges to put it in place. 2 hinges to be exact. Alright, I've got this installed. It didn't take long, maybe like 3-4 minutes max. And by the way, these are the regular screws that were pre-installed on here, and these are spares, so it's nice to have spares. And yeah, again, this was really easy to install. One thing I did notice, something to watch out for, is to make sure you have it set to the right size, because I didn't look at that and I installed this, and now it's like I have to take these off in order to adjust it. Velcro straps can come off, like as you see here, even here as well, but it's not budging. And you don't want it to, right? So that means it's doing its job here, so that's good. But if only they made it a little easier to adjust this. So, to adjust the size as needed, because that would be nice. So now I got to take this all apart, and it's just kind of inconvenient to do that every time. Yeah, essentially you just hold on to this outside, like so, and then you can use your tablet, especially for working or something along those lines. It's really nice to have that handle. So for a rugged tablet, this is thick, not as thick as the other ones. It is kind of heavy, but the only thing I get kind of concerned about is how well can this handle drops, because from the side it looks like this isn't too rubbery, the texture, so it might not last too many drops. At the same time, if you have this installed, this handle will be able to absorb some drops back here, so that's nice. And what you're seeing here are the flaps that I opened up. So starting on the left side, we do have the speaker grill on the bottom on the left side. There is one on the right side too, so it emits from both sides. Then going back here, we have the USB port, USB-C port, micro SD card slot, and SIM tray. That's right here. Just going to push this back in. It's not too hard to take out or put back in. And these flaps are there to make this water resistant. So it's going to be like splash proof, water resistant, and all those other things that rugged tablets are. You got nothing on the top except maybe a reset button or a microphone, and there is that front camera. Then on the side we have the volume button, power keys, which is texturized. Then there is another either reset button or microphone. I gotta check to see. Unfortunately, in their little instructions manual or user manual, it doesn't show which one's a microphone or reset button, but I'm sure on their listing it's probably there somewhere. Anyways, the show must go on. On the bottom there's nothing else, and then on the back you do have it looks like there's a flash with the camera that's not protruding too much. The camera itself is nothing to be too impressed by. It's enough to take pictures during the daytime because you can read everything on here, even the small font that says professional screen cleaning paper. Now at nighttime, it's much harder. I did take some pictures with the flash on, and when you're in a completely secluded dark area, it's impossible to get a good shot. It's hard to. You got to keep your hand still, and it takes a few seconds for the shutter to take that photo. If there is some light and you use the flash on here, you can still read or capture certain things. Not small font like this here. It's not even legible. It's just too grainy. But on here, you can read like estimate, or sorry, not estimate, but energy, and some stuff is legible on here, including natural gas, water heater, tank size, storage capacity, 38 gallons. Although that is, again, a bit grainy, but it gets the job done. So the camera is just not that good overall. It is kind of tolerable in certain situations. Now here's the front camera. And again, yeah, nothing to be too impressed by. Enough for a Skype call or video call. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So there's not too much bloatware that's pre-installed on here. And it looks like it's decently bright, like 400 to 450 nits. This is still not enough to use outside in like full bright daylight, but it's better than some other low-end tablets. I'll give it that much. And out of the box, we have a ton of storage space. 245 gigs free out of 256 gigs. The only other downside is that it has an HD screen, and that's 149 ppi or pixels per inch. So that's relatively low, and you'll definitely notice this if you're coming from an iPhone or a high-level Android device, even an iPad or something along those lines. Pixels, I mean. It'll probably be a little easier for you to see because it's not as sharp. Yikes, we're barely getting 18 FPS on here. This is not really playable whatsoever. So videos are going to be, as you can expect, pretty alright. You can watch videos or upscale it all the way up to 1080p on here. It will not go to 4K. I'm not sure why it's showing 480 now, but it was at 1080p before. So yeah, it's going to look a little bit better than what you're seeing right now before I paused it, because it was at it, and I went kind of back and forth just to test out the speakers, because I know on one it was only emitting from one side more than the other, but that's because of this video here, which is mine. I kind of talk on the side, so that's why it was coming out off of one side. So I checked both in to make sure, and yeah, it does emit from both sides. It does sound tinny and more distorted as you get louder or raise it, and it gets pretty loud too. The other interesting thing is that this has a wideband security of L1. That means videos can be watched at HD 720p on Netflix and other streaming platforms outside of YouTube. So that's kind of nice. On Geekbench, we're seeing that this has a Mali G57. Again, it's a 1280 by 800 display. 149 ppi or pixels per inch is not that much. We kind of discussed all that before. But yeah, the benchmarks were relatively low. Nothing to be really impressed by. The single core score was 398. Multi-core score was 1399. Just shy of 1400. So this doesn't even come close to anything on the benchmark scores. Kind of the leaderboards, you can even say. And then multi-core score was, again, really low. Didn't really match anything on here either. The GPU score was 461. I wonder if there was something that was, looks like nothing was inhibiting it. Because sometimes there's like a score that doesn't, it's not compatible or it just doesn't run, so the score ends up being lower than it is. But yeah, 400 is just so low. Look at that. The Galaxy A52s 5G has a score of 2104, and this is, 461. And you know, they say, I used to like to say benchmarks are one thing, performance is another, but they are an indication of what you can really expect on here, which is not much in this case. I will say though, doing basic tasks, I haven't noticed any issues. Like, you won't have a problem with using Google Chrome, browsing the web, watching videos and stuff. Real play comes into, of course, gaming and using other software. So let's go ahead and try Roblox here. I'm not noticing any issues with Roblox. In the beginning, it just takes a little bit longer for things to load. But yeah, overall, this is playable. No major issues. And even if I get into combat, it should still be fine. Let's see here. Yeah, I wish there was an FPS counter to show you exactly how many frames I was getting. But yeah, no, overall, it's not bad. I'm going to step it up with RuneScape here. And the only thing I changed was the FPS, and I turned off terrain building and textures. So yeah, everything is pretty much at the lowest graphics settings. You can see the FPS on top here as I'm playing it. Yeah, we're getting a consistent, well, not consistent, but yeah, it's around 30. If you zoom out farther, you'll get less. So yeah, it goes down to the 20s. So you'll notice a little bit more lag, but close up, it's much better. Staying or hovering around 30. So yeah, this is playable. And then even when you have textures on, it's still playable, but it drops down to like 20 FPS or something. So yeah, you can kind of game on this. I know it's a rugged tablet, so it's not really meant for gaming, but I wanted to just check out and see what we can handle here, and it looks like we can handle some level of gaming. But the most important thing about a rugged tablet is not about, I mean, performance is important, but that's not the only thing. Because if it's just pure performance and you're looking for a tablet for media consumption along those lines, then the On 12.1-inch tablet is a great option. It goes for like $179 at Walmart you can pick up, and I actually have my own video that I'll link below, and I'll have like an annotation somewhere near the end or a card on the top right that you can check out. But yeah, that performs so much better than this in almost every way except battery life. Battery life is going to be better on here. I haven't tested this out thoroughly, right? I did charge this overnight. Or not overnight, but like in the morning time. So I'm at 97%. I'm not sure why it's not adjusting. Overnight, it loses like 1 to 2% charge. The software is not too well optimized for it, but at the same time, this will easily last for maybe 2 days at the very least, I want to say, because it has a large battery capacity. Being a rugged tablet, you should be able to withstand like drops and water. And that is the case here. You can just pour water on this without any issues because it's IP68 and IP69K rating. So waterproof, water resistant, shockproof, dust resistant, no issues there whatsoever. One thing to know with this drop test is I will have this handle on here that it comes with, because usually when I'm using this outdoors, or I'm expecting people would use this handle when they're outside, especially at a construction site or something, and this should absorb the impact, I'm assuming. So first test is going to be, I'm just looking at it, just going to do a regular drop from the back. Oh wow, that sounded really bad. All right, let's take a look here. So looks like there's no cracks, and I feel like this did absorb the impact like I mentioned, but we are noticing some scuffs here. Can we buff those out? Oh yeah, it looks like some of it's coming out. I'll have to use some wipe to really get everything out and see. But yeah, oh, and it looks like the camera took a hit too here. Wow. Okay, so after wiping everything off, I'm seeing some scuffs down here. These are not bad at all whatsoever, like right here. And then on the camera side, there are some more scuffs, or it's like chipped off, so that's noticeable. And yeah, it doesn't look good, but the camera is still viewable and it can be used. There are a few more scuffs on top here. Just noticing that, as well as up on here. So overall, I'd say it passed because this is still usable. Had to come inside to show you that this is still usable. The camera is working just fine, no issues. And the tablet itself is working completely fine, no issues here. Now we'll do a drop test, just making it fall from its side. So that didn't look too bad, but I am seeing a big crack on the screen protector here. I'm not sure if that's a full crack on the screen itself. I'm assuming it's not, but I'm going to do a front test and then take this front screen protector off just to see whether or not that's the case, that the screen is actually cracked. We are seeing some stuff down here, but yeah, let me just wipe this off and see how bad it really is. All right, so yeah, just wiping it off, I noticed that there's not too many scuffs down here. Side test has passed, the back test has passed, but now let's see the front. If it drops flat on its screen, on the screen itself. Let's see how that goes. Alright, so it just sounds really hollow when it drops, so it doesn't really feel like it's a big burden or concern. But yeah, as I'm seeing here, a lot of cracks on the screen protector itself. But does the screen have any cracks itself? Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, moment of truth. Going to be taking this screen protector out now. And by the way, I did notice there were some slight like scuffs and dirt on top here. So because it's not completely flat, so the bezels are kind of protecting it from the sides there, but it's only helping so much. The screen protector really is coming in clutch, but is it just the screen protector? That's what I'm trying to figure out. All right, yeah, the screen protector is completely cracked. The screen itself is looking fine. Wow. So it passes overall, and it looks like, is there a screen protector that's pre-installed on here? Nope, that's just me. Yeah, the screen is totally fine. So overall, it passes the rugged drop tests. And I'm looking at it even more carefully, and I'm not noticing any cracks or scratches here. So Yeah, it did its thing. It did survive that drop test, but that was thanks to having this on back here. I want to say this handle helped it survive, as well as the screen protector that it comes not pre-installed with. You can install this separately. So this definitely saved it from any major issues or any major cracks. There are some scuffs here, like I'm noticing down here. There's a scuff, and yeah, the back was chipped off from the camera. That's probably the most damage that it's done. So that's a good sign. Overall, this is a pretty good rugged tablet. It gets the job done as a rugged tablet, meaning it'll handle drops. It's water resistant, like we showed. And you can game on here as well as do some other things. So yeah, overall, I think it's a good device. Let me know what you think. Is there any other better budget rugged tablets out there? Because so far, this seems like a decent one. Again, it passed all the drop tests, so that's a big plus. Anyways, guys, stay tuned for more as I'll be checking out more in the near future. And as always, thanks for watching.